What is going on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch? This is your host, Marcus J, and this is another segment of 717 Sports Chat Live. How's everybody in the 717 and abroad doing today? All right, today we got boxing, y'all. As everybody knows, last night's big fight between Charlo and Castano went down. We had a 3-fight card, and me and my homie here, SP Suckers, we about to bust this thing wide open. What's going on, brother?
What's up?
You already know, man. It's another day in the land, ready to break this bad boy down. We had a few good fights last night. You know what I mean? As you know, I know you caught the whole card. I was at a wedding or whatever, so I just caught everything today.
Yeah,
or whatever. So, but
card.
I caught all three fights, so we good.
Yeah, for 3 fights, that was a good card. Good. I would say
it really was. It really was.
Fights and the little circus they had with the Romero fight. But we'll get into that.
that was a little bit of circles. Yeah, we're gonna get into that first.
Aleem. Now let's talk about Aleem and Vidal. Was that his name?
Vidal.
Yeah, Vidal.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That was a fight
right there. Them motherfuckers knuckled up from the first round to the last round, and they were taking some fucking hits. Like their breathing had to be extra crazy because the way they were going at it, it's like they didn't take no breaks from throwing punches. They were throwing.
Yeah, absolutely. I scored that fight 1 point for Vidal. I thought it could have went either way though.
I thought it was a draw.
That's what I'm saying. It could have definitely been scored a draw. I agree with that.
I feel like Vidal caught the first couple fights, and then Aleem came back for the comeback to catch the draw. But I wasn't mad at the decision because I guess the way Vidal was catching him at the beginning of the rounds, he was really throwing them motherfucking heavy hits. Aleem kept coming with the combination punches, but they were like. It was like points. Like it wasn't nothing spectacular to him. It was just a quick tap, 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 tap.
Yeah. It was. It was more volume. It was more volume with really not much power behind it. And Vidal was just catching it with the harder, cleaner, more effective shots. But later on in the fight, you did see Aleem start to catch him with harder, more authoritative shots.
Throwing them fucking hooks. It was catching that.
Yes, he started touching him up real nice. You just kind of wish he would have did that a little bit earlier in terms of unleashing his power.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when he started landing his power punches, he was able to back Vidal up. You know what I mean? But both fighters, that was a really, really good fight. It was back and forth. That's the type of fight you want, especially for undercard. I say this all the time about boxing.
Especially for the first
about boxing. We don't get enough good undercard fights in boxing. So this was one of the better ones.
That was the first match I ever seen of both of them. It made me want to go back and watch their last matches. Because from what I heard, the last match, Aleem got knocked out. And Vidal, they said he won by decision, but it was a lot of people didn't agree with the decision. So I'm gonna have to go back.
Yeah, see, I've watched Vidal's last couple of fights because I've been watching him kind of grow up on the PBC, on the PBC brand or whatever. And I like him because he's a tall guy, rangy, but he's got good. His punches stick when they hit you.
Yeah, he's a power puncher.
But his last fight was debatable.
Yeah,
his last fight was debatable.
I'm gonna have to go very debatable.
And you can even say this one's debatable based on the volume punching of Aleem. You know, like Aleem, he was ripping off some combinations, but what this fight reminded me of in so many ways was kind of like Paulie Malignaggi and Adrian Broner, where Malignaggi's outworking him, but the harder shots and the telling shots are coming from Broner. Like,
exactly.
That's what this fight was reminding me of. That's exactly what this fight reminded me of. Aleem was fast. He had the combinations. He was definitely killing him to the body, but Vidal was just too big, too strong. You can see, you know what I mean? It can take that, and he packed more wall.
You can actually see them Vidal's punches slowing.
Yeah, they was.
Then he had to get himself back together, come back in. Whereas
I feel like in the third round, that's when we really seen Vidal's power because he started piecing him up with a couple combinations, and even a left hook staggered Aleem back.
Yeah, he hit him with that body shot. He got to catch his breath real quick up against the ropes.
Absolutely. But that was a really good fight. Like I could watch that fight again.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was saying.
I could watch that fight again.
For the first match on the card, that was a good match to start off with right there. to keep you.
Yeah, it really was.
Cause you know, usually
Really,
I don't know about everybody else, but like when I go to fight parties and shit, there's a lot of people that don't really pay attention to the undercard fights. They just wait for the main event to come on.
main event.
Yeah, me, I'm the type of guy I like to watch these motherfuckers because you never know, these might be the motherfuckers.
Yeah, you never know
working
who
their
you
way
might
up.
have waiting in the wings. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we had guys. Like, think about it. Kermit Cintron come up through this type of ranking, and Margarito. You know what I mean? Before his hand wrapping issues came into place,
yeah,
he came up on the undercards. We had a lot of good fighters that made it to the big name, to the big Pacquiao.
yeah.
Pacquiao was an undercard
The
fighter.
Charlo twins too. I first started watching them
Yeah.
on the underfights. The Thurman.
HBO After Dark.
No, they were actually fighting on News 8 when PBC on Fox when it first started coming on Fox. They were actually
Yeah.
fighting on Fox too.
I remember, yeah, but I remember when the Charlos brothers, when I first started watching them, was on HBO After Dark when HBO still had fucking boxing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's when I'll never forget it because I remember just before the wild hair, the color hair, my boy Jamal had the straight regular box, cleaned up. You know what I mean? He was doing the intro. And he just looked like a regular dude. He wasn't getting to hear no barking, no shit talking, no nothing.
They
So
still had the,
you know what I mean?
Had the humbleness.
Yeah, had the humbleness. He still had the humbleness. So I remember that. I remember that first fight. And I forget who the guy he fought, but it wasn't like he got him up out of it. He went the distance that fight, but it's always these type of platforms like Showbox, undercards of big pay-per-view fights. It is good to watch some of these boxing cards because don't get me wrong, a lot of reason why people don't watch boxing undercards is because a lot of people just don't appreciate the science of boxing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what it is. They want to see an all-out war. They want to see, the main event. You know what I mean? And if you don't get that, it's like, oh, the undercard is a dud. And it's like, nah, man, you gotta watch these fights because every fighter is different. Everybody has their own style of boxing.